we open Vashista and we look at the non-dual just to bridge the two. In Vashista, he is pointing, the mind seeks the self only in order to dissolve itself in the self. This indeed is in the very nature of the mind. This is the supreme goal. Strive for this. If this aspect of the mind is dormant, which means the higher intelligence in the mind is dormant, then what is active and awake is the lower mind, which is the egoic aspect of the mind. And this egoic mind is undiscriminating, not once remembering the true nature of oneself, nor inquiring, who am I?
Another word for the ego is the personality. Yes?
Yes.
Because most of us look at ourselves as personalities. The term ego has been more of a psychological term for most of us.
If I look at personality, I would break it down that I believe that I am being a person. So the being, which is awareness, mixed with a person, then that's superimposition, the mutual superimposition, and suddenly the person have some qualities of awareness. Suddenly the person is a conscious entity, when awareness is the only sentient being. And then also awareness suddenly undergoes change when it is eternally changeless. This is the mixing, just in a very simple way. So personality, it means the being appear to be a person, and the person has attributes of a being, means the person, which is an object, suddenly is a conscious entity, which is not. Suddenly it exists by itself, which is not, because the being is existence and it exists by itself. So this is mixed, and this mixed is a confusion. From being a person, that means personality, this personality is undiscriminating, means it never discriminates itself. It only discriminates the objects of the world because it believes itself to be an object, a person, a physical form. The ego discriminates, or the personality discriminates the objects of the world, means it discriminates even an object would be pleasure, it's objective, and pain is objective because it is experienced in the physical body. Then from then on, it discriminates between one object to another object, apple to an orange. Yes? Yet, this is not the discrimination in the higher mind. The higher mind discriminates the conceptual image of an object from the object itself, from the objects of perception, which is a physical body. The higher intelligence determines the true nature of the object on the subtle, means it examines if the objective thoughts are really objects, and if the objective thoughts are really real or happening. What does it mean? Let's say I have a memory of something that happened to me in a physical body, yet all of it is the memory. When it arises, it's a residual impression of the event, that the impression of a physical body appeared to go through that event, that generated a particular emotion at that time. Yet this is all stored in memory. This is not really happening anymore. It's over. Yet when there is identification with it, you relive it over again. Even being lonely, let's say, it's actually objective because it's always related to a body. I'm lonely, that means I'm missing another. Means I am missing another object. Because I'm an object, I'm missing another object. This is being lonely, which is a negative state of mind. Just an example.
And you can bring
Fear
it back.
is objective. Because it's always I'm afraid to lose an object that I have. And I'm afraid that I'm not going to gain an object that I don't have yet. That's always objective, yet it is in the mind. It's always objective. So what happens? The higher mind determines if this objective thoughts, or if these objects are really real objects. It determines the truth of the object. That means if the object was truly an object, it would come to the conclusion that it is an object. Because the object is a mirage, means it is a conceptual image, it's not a real object. There come a discovery, there can happen a realization that what appears to be an object is not an object. That means it doesn't really exist.
So the higher mind at an instant determines whether this is in the present moment or in the past. And if it's in the
That's
past,
one of the
it
way
can-
of discrimination.
It can neglect it, it can throw it out.
Negate it.
Because it's in the past.
Because it is an illusion appearing
The mirage.
in the field of awareness. Yes?
Yes.
And the only real experience is the field of awareness, not the image. One has to come to the realization that discernment is between thought and a sense-felt real experience of a field which is aware, which is you. And that field that is aware only of itself. When it's aware of something, this is the notion that there are two. There's maybe awareness and there's me, an object. There's an awareness and there's another thing. The first thing that appears to be another is a sense of me, separation. That's the first object that awareness illuminates. So when you withdraw the attention by inquiry from the me, the object, awareness is only aware of itself. It knows itself by itself. The ego cannot do that because the ego is undiscriminating, not once remembering its true nature, nor inquiring, who am I? Who is aware? Am I aware?
It doesn't have the software to do that.
It doesn't have the ability.
Doesn't have the.
That means when inquiry is active, it's not the ego. Yet who is going to put the fight or rebel or resist or react to the inquiry is the apparent ego, because it believes itself to be a real separate entity.
So then,
Because it is only outward band, and it identifies itself as a real entity and believes that the world is real. The aspect of the mind that inquires doesn't go outward. Its movement was just out of awareness, so there is still a sense of forgetfulness. Okay? It's like before the body is formed, Maya forgot the face looking in. Only when she forgot the face looking in and she's moving out, she creates a conceptual image of the body and what appears to be a physical body. Therefore, the movement of outward bent for Maya is not with the body identification. Is inside on a subtle level the form of creation. That's when she starts creating. So when you go inward, and this is why it's so key, you go inward, introvert, the mind is more inward, leaving the objects of perception, leaving the feelings, leaving the sensations, and eventually leaving the thoughts themselves. So attention can rest within self-aware, which is you, which is I, not as a thought. Okay? So, where is the challenge returning for the mind? The mind seeks the self only in order to dissolve itself in the self. This indeed is in the very nature of the mind. This is the supreme goal. Strive for this. This aspect is actually has to be awakened and be stronger than the tendency of the ego.